Hi, I'm Albert Davidson, the Vice President of Congregation B'nai Tzedek. It's been 10 years since my son became a bar mitzvah. This week's Parsha is the same one he had. I knew back then that Parshat Tavriya is a difficult reading with all the skin inflictions and such, but I knew there's great symbolism in the passage. We all have some type of afflictions. Each of us has some affliction that could separate us from the rest of the community. But Torah obligates us to keep from alienating ourselves from each other. More than that, Torah reminds us that even in the case of the most contagious of illness, we must never be complacent in letting people languish alone. Torah requires the priest to make regular checks on the afflicted to ensure their return to the community at the earliest available moments. No one should have to wait to return to their communities. Even when outside of camp, we cannot ignore them. We have to maintain contact and services for all their needs. The Chofetz Chaim, amazing sage of the 19th, 20th century, taught that illness that separates communities is a physical manifestation, a personification of evil speech, Lashon Hara, when one slanders another. It's as if one alienates himself from the whole community. He gets thrown out of camp. One does not deserve the blessings that the community has to offer when one hurts another with speech. That said, though, the community can never give up on trying to rekindle the relationship with the slanderer. We have to keep making attempts to heal the breach and restore the relationship. Sometimes we do not have it in us to do this work, but faith always requires us to try. People say dumb things sometimes, but they are not the sum total of the person's value. We cannot dismiss people because they make mistakes. In fact, our tradition demands that we have to work even harder to fix the relationship, even if we were the wronged individual. Yes, this is an ugly portion, but it teaches the most faithful of lessons. Don't hold a grudge. The world suffers under way too many of them. Each of us has full control to see the world through a different lens, hopefully a less judgmental lens. Grace Slick of Jefferson Airplane sang, "When the garden flowers are dead, yes, and your mind is so full of red, don't you want someone to love? Don't you need someone to love? Wouldn't you love someone to love? You better find someone to love." She was spot on. We have some important events coming up. We have second day Passover at Temple Beth David. This is our second year celebrating Passover there. Last year was wonderful hearing the story of the Exodus with over 100 other families. The meal was delicious too. It would be awesome to see a lot of CBTers there. We also have a long-term planning town hall this Sunday, April 14th at 9:15 to 11 a.m. It is important that as many families as possible show up and be part of this town hall and receive the information that is being passed along. At this meeting, we will all get a chance to share our hopes for the future of CBT and what direction we should go. Typically, only 50 families from our oldest demographic shows up to these meetings out of 250 family units. It is important that the families from all areas of CBT show up and communicate and not only let a small portion of our congregation influence the decisions to be made. I hope everyone has a great week.